So I ended up getting a sales job at a local gym. Little side story, I have taught group exercise since I was in high school. So in addition to being a realtor, I also teach classes.
That's
and was
awesome.
Teaching there in college, realized I needed a job and I couldn't do that by teaching 3 classes a week. So I started selling gym memberships, which evolved into me then selling personal training and really loving it and kind of getting my feet wet in the sales world. So I was originally, if you'd asked me when I was 18, declaring a major, I was going to be working for National Geographic, traveling the world taking photos, and here I am in Gainesville, Florida, building a real estate business.
Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuque,
David Wynn,
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market. Today, guys, we've got returning guest Christina Wagner from Ocala, Florida. And Christina, you've got somebody pretty special today. Who did you bring with us?
Hi, Lindsey Johnson from Keller Williams Gainesville Realty Partners. Thanks so much for coming on board and sharing a little bit about your success with us today, Lindsey.
Happy to do it. Thank you all for having me. I love talking about real estate, so I'm thrilled to be here.
That's awesome. Well, and you're phenomenal at it. It looks to us like you've done your first share of camera work as well. I think, over 400 videos on the YouTube. So you're pretty well known out there, right?
I'm getting there. It actually, huge milestone. I hit 1,000 subs this past week. So
I saw
really
that. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah,
and it's awesome. Exciting because it's all organic. I have not paid or kind of pushed any of that stuff. It's all just people who found my channel and then found value in it. So that was really a proud moment for me. You should
be, because you're right. That's difficult to do, when you're out there trying to build a channel, as we know, because we've had to build our own, finding those followers, those like-minded, like-hearted people, it's a journey. it's a journey. Yes. And you've taken some people along that ride with you, and you've got 1,000 followers so far to show it. And I'm sure that 1,000 is going to turn into thousands, as you keep doing what you're doing. So no, we see it. You got that star quality going on, Lindsey. So, tell us a little bit about yourself so we know who you are. You're down there in Gainesville, Florida. Are you from Gainesville originally?
So actually, I did the typical Gainesville route, which is I grew up somewhere else. I came to Gainesville to go to school, and then I never left. Same thing with my husband. My brother was here for a while, but then he finally left. But there's a magnetism to this town that if you live here for any amount of time, either you stay, or if you do leave, odds are you come back. So I've been here since 2004, almost 20 years.
That's funny. We had a guest on a couple weeks ago who said the exact same thing. There's something in the water down there in Gainesville.
Yeah, there really is. And I think Gainesville is just this interesting melting pot. Because of the university, there's a lot of diversity and culture, and there's amazing restaurants, and there's a lot going on. Whereas if there wasn't the university, it would just be this little quiet town without a lot going on. But because it's kind of that quiet town too, you get a really great sense of community. So I just genuinely love Gainesville. I met my husband here. We're raising children here. It's awesome. A phenomenal area to be.
That's great. And you've been there since 2004, so you know the town well. Where'd you come from originally?
So I grew up down in Naples, Florida. Originally born in Colorado Springs, but when I was a kid, we moved to Naples, and my parents actually still live there. So grew up down in Southwest Florida. And I had 2 older brothers who both went to the University of Florida. So I knew I wanted to be a Gator when I was about 12 years old, and my oldest brother started attending here.
Gator Nation everywhere, right?
Always.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, I'm a sneakerhead. I've got a lot of shoes, and I actually have some orange and blue and white Nike Jordan 1s that you might like. So
I love it. I love it.
Good stuff. Well, okay, so 2004, went to school there, and you graduated and jumped right into real estate?
No, I got a degree in photojournalism. I was always the kid with the camera back when you had to, take it to be developed, and there was a thing such as film. And so I went to school for photojournalism, graduated in 2009, which, if you remember 2009, as a student, it was like, oh, this newspaper shut down, and now this
Yeah.
one shut down, and we're in the height of the greatest recession in any of our lifetime. So I ended up getting a sales job at a local gym. Little side story, I have taught group exercise since I was in high school. So in addition to being a realtor, I also teach classes.
That's
and was
awesome.
teaching there in college, realized I needed a job, and I couldn't do that by teaching 3 classes a week. So I started selling gym memberships, which evolved into me then selling personal training and really loving it and kind of getting my feet wet in the sales world. So I was originally, if you'd asked me when I was 18, declaring a major, I was going to be working for National Geographic, traveling the world taking photos, and here I am in Gainesville, Florida, building a real estate business.
Well, that's funny. We just had this come up last week. Somebody said Kodak moment, and I said, well, what is a Kodak moment? Because to me, a Kodak moment might even mean something negative, right? Kodak, you missed the boat, right? We're digital now. So,
and they had the opportunity to go
That's
there
right.
first and thought, nobody's going to want this. And
exactly. I can't imagine the folks that were in that boardroom when they're like, no way. There's no way. Everybody's got to have the photo. And now here we are in a digital world, right? And I
Hindsight
can't
is
say I don't
20/20.
miss it. Yeah, I love the Kodak moments. I really do. You know, we still have some Polaroid film cameras at home just because I think it's great to be able to capture some of those moments real time. You're not always going to get that with digital. But so you get in and you go, I'm a media, I'm going to be a journalist. I'm going to be out there roaming the world, taking photos. And then we've got this crazy crash on video or from film to video in 2009. And you switch gears, right? You switch gears.
I did. I think I needed a job, so I got into one, and then I found out I'm actually pretty good at sales. My mother-in-law says I could sell ice to Eskimos, so let her, brag on me for that one. But what ended up happening is I was in personal training sales. I was not a trainer, but I always told people I was like eHarmony for personal training. You sat down with me, we talked about your goals, and I helped pair you with a trainer and a program, and did really well with that, to the point where they're like, hey, you're the top salesperson, you should be the manager. And I think that was the beginning of the end for me, because I was not a fan of leading a horse to water and then having it not drink.
Well, I think that's a problem a lot of great salespeople run into, because you get out there and you start trying to train others to do what you do, and they don't always want to listen. And that's a frustrating pain point, because you know what kind of results they're going to get if they do it that way. And at the end of the day, it's like that, you can't get them to put those blinders on and just follow and allow you to lead them in that direction. So you said management's not for me, but I'm great at sales. So how'd that transition into real estate?
So we got to go up to my middle brother. I have 2 big brothers. My middle brother, Chris, lived in Gainesville at the time. For years, he was in my ear, because I had worked at the biggest gym in town for the last, 10 or 15 years. And he's like, Lindsey, I don't go anywhere with you in this town where you don't run into somebody that you know. You are personable, you are organized, you need to get your real estate license. And I just kind of rolled my eyes. I didn't even really know what a realtor did. And it was about 5 years of him just constantly saying, like, you should do this, get your license, you'd be so good at it. And I finally, in 2000, oh gosh, what was that? So it had been 2016, got my license in a week, took the class, ripped the Band-Aid off, 5 or 40 hours in 1 week, passed the test, and by January of 2017 was full-time in real estate. Well, not full-time. I still had my previous job,
Right.
and then was working that at the same time.
That's awesome. So 2017, great time in this industry. Lending knew what it was doing by that point in time, because we'd had some crazy times pre-2013, and rates were relatively good in 2017, pretty good market. So great year to get in. So you get in and you became the guru that you are today in a couple of weeks, right?
Oh, sure. Yes. No. The first 6 months was really hard. I had a 2-year-old. And the job I was still holding was a full commission job, and real estate, as we know, is also a full commission job. So it was a lot of late nights and hard work for a solid 6 months. And then in that 6-month mark is when I finally realized I needed to leave the security of what I had been doing to go into real estate full time.
Well, we talk about that all the time. Sometimes it's not sometimes, it's all the time. Doing the scary thing right? But leading with your heart and knowing that that's where you need to go. That's what most people are afraid to do. You know, they go, man, this is safe and it's secure. And if I go over here, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if this happens? But the thing is that the only way to truly get the amazing results is if you just go in wholeheartedly and you believe in yourself and you do it and you do it and you do it and you do it until you create success. And you took that leap of faith while juggling a 2-year-old, another business. You said, I'm going to make it happen.
Yes, I think I was just born into it. Both of my parents were business owners. Both of my grandfathers were in sales. I think entrepreneurship was just kind of in my blood, and I grew up with a dad who's always like, be your own boss, and he said that, and he's said it before. He's owned multiple successful businesses, and he says it's the fear of other people, and not in a praying way, but just most people are too scared to do it, which is why entrepreneurship can be lucrative.
That's right.
Because those who are willing to do it and take the leap are going to be rewarded for taking that risk.
100%. 100%. So you get in, you take that leap of faith. Do you have a mentor at this time? Somebody that's helping guide you in the right direction?
I did. So at the brokerage that I started at, there was an agent who was my brother's agent, and he's a top producing agent, super great guy, and he really took me under his wing, and in that first couple of years really helped me get started, sent me some referrals, was always somebody that I could go to, and even though you're kind of an independent contractor, being at the right brokerage means you're surrounded by people who are willing to help you and share that space.
That's important, and I think that's important on both sides of the business. As you probably already know, David, Christina, and I, we all work together. And, what we've found is having that team atmosphere where we're all there to lift each other up and push each other in the right direction and mentor one another to create success. That's the kind of environment that you've got to be in, to find that ability to succeed. And having a great mentor in the beginning along the way is a great way to start your journey. So you start there. You've got a great mentor who's helping, mold you into what real estate really is and how to be a great realtor. Where are you today? Let's jump over everything else and let's talk about what's happening right now.
Absolutely. So where I am today is I'm at Keller Williams. I actually have a full-time assistant now. I have a transaction coordinator. I'm having the best year of my career, volume-wise. I think it's come to a point where I have built a business that I really love. I have the best customers in the world who always take care of me. They're always, using me for repeat business. They're referring me to their friends and family. And that was advice I got very early on in the business through a family friend was, build your business off of your sphere. If you take care of your customers, they'll always take care of you. And that is really how I've built my business. I've never given Zillow or Realtor.com or any website a dime. And not that there's anything wrong with using that as a way to build business, but for me, I had such a strong sphere with almost 20 years in this town that is really where I've built my business.
I love it, Lindsey. You just said a couple of things here, and we're going to have to play this back, right? So I'm going to start with the simple ones, which is you don't pay for leads. You use your sphere. And I think that's really important for a lot of people to understand because in trying times, internet doesn't always work, right? But your sphere, those people that you've served and led well, if you stay in front of them, they're always going to help you with, finding new people because they know what the experience is like when they're working with Lindsey. And at the end of the day, they want their friends and family also to have that same type of experience. So amazing that you said that, but there's something even more amazing because what I know is we're recording this in November of 2023.
And she's having her best year
ever. She's having her best year. Well, a lot of agents out there right now are struggling, right? Yeah. A lot of agents are struggling. She also said she built her YouTube channel with organic traffic, right? And did that as well. A lot of people are going to want to know the secret of that success. How are you having this great success in 2023 when a lot of people are struggling?
Absolutely. And, it's the answer nobody wants to hear, but it's the long game. Yeah. This did not happen overnight. This happened over sowing seeds for years. Now, I will go to the YouTube channel part of it. Because I do video, I love it. It has really helped me grow my business because I get people who call me or email me and say, I've been watching your videos for months. We're moving to Gainesville. Will you be our realtor? Absolutely. Sure.
Is there
That
a
doesn't
ring
come with a
involved with this
referral fee, by the
transaction?
way. But for me, it was consistency. I have been doing YouTube now for 3 years, and
That's
for the
right.
first 10 months, I saw nothing. Not a blip, not a call. I'm pretty sure the views were mostly from my mother. But I kept going. I mean, it was 3 videos a week consistently for 10 months before I got the first person who said, hey, I kind of like you and I want you to be my realtor.
Yeah.
And so I think so often it's the shiny object. It's, oh, I tried farming for 3 months and it didn't work, so I'm going to do something else. And then, well, I tried that and it didn't work. So it's choosing your whatever that thing is and just really committing to it. And I think it's the consistency over time that has helped build that audience in an organic way.
Oh, there's no question about it. You know, most people, you talk our language, by the way, because you're talking about shiny objects and consistency and persistence. And, you know, one of the things that we talk about, and you said it without saying it, is we're not building a tent over here. We're building a castle, right? I can put up a tent in 10, 15, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how difficult it is, right? But a castle, you're not building overnight. That takes time, right? And most people, they want to jump in and they go, hey, I want a quick buck. I want to earn some money right now. And sure, that may be possible, right? It may be possible. But when you're trying to build consistent production, it takes time to do that. And you had the foresight to know, I'm not going to stop doing these videos. I love doing them. And I know at some point in time, there's going to be a payoff. But man, that's hard work. Right? That's hard work to just keep doing it when nobody's listening, to keep doing it like you've got an audience when nobody's really hearing you. But what's funny is, and you probably know this now, but you didn't know this then, people were listening. They just weren't hitting the subscribe button yet. But they were listening, and that's what's helped you build the success that you're having today while everybody else is out there struggling. She's in 2023 having her bang up year, and that's why we wanted to bring you on the show. Christina, thank you so much for finding Lindsey, because you're exactly the kind of person we want to talk to and showcase what you're doing out there to create success. It's not about shiny objects. It's about the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that we put into this that ultimately over time results in big results, and you're doing exactly that. So kudos to you, Lindsey, for not giving up when it was hard, you know, and keeping that train driving. I love that.
Let's talk about that, Lindsey. You know, what made you decide to do that first video?
Well, I mean, truthfully, it was Tom Ferry coaching. So I had gone to Summit and you know, he was just drilling video. And I remember thinking, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could talk. You know, I did a little bit of drama in high school and I was on the dance team, so I didn't have a problem getting in front of people. And I thought, you know, well, and for me, it was a lot of sweat equity in the beginning. I didn't have check equity. I had sweat equity. So what could I do that was low cost, low barrier to entry? And I tell people this all the time because, you know, a lot of times someone goes and looks at my YouTube channel and they're like, wow, the lighting and the editing. And now I have a professional videographer who does all that and has a team of editors. It's not where I started. And I say, go to my YouTube channel and filter by the oldest video. Look at the first one I did. I will never delete it, as cringeworthy as it is. Because I was in my guest room with no lighting, with no mic. I had my cell phone stacked on books on the guest bed. And I would film in the afternoon because our window faced the west. So light would be coming in. And I just started. I mean, the quality, it's all terrible. But it shows where I started.
I don't know if you knew this, Lindsey. I'm having deja vu right now. And his name is Vu, so it's actually kind of funny. He goes by David, but Vu, deja vu, because you just mentioned again a couple of things that we have in common. You know, coaching, we're coached.
Take action.
Yeah, we coached from the Carl White's Mortgage Marketing Animals. And just like you were sitting there listening to Tom coach you on video, and you said, I could do that. David and I were at a conference in Nashville, and our mentor was saying video. When he and I looked at each other and were like, well, we're going to start that next week. We started it in my kitchen. We started it with a Zoom call, and we did it with a $100 microphone and a $100 camera. And today we also have a videographer and an editor and lighting and HD cameras and all the same stuff that you're talking about as well. So guys and gals, if you're looking at how to create that success, just like Lindsey said, it's not video number 1. it's video number 55, video number 100, video number 200. And if you're not willing to put that consistency into it, you're never going to see the results that you can eventually have. And Lindsey, you're living those results. You're living proof that this stuff works. So again, well, what a great question, man. Give her another one.
Yeah. Hey, Lindsey. So obviously, how important is video to your business in real estate?
Oh, it's vital. And I find, and it's kind of both, because I have the really polished, next week my videographer's coming into town and we batch film. We'll do 20 videos next week that then get edited and parsed out over the next month or two. And then it's also the kind of off the cuff, pick up my phone, talk about something that happened or that rates hit 8% a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because I think, particularly right now, real estate is so weird and it's so scary and it's so unknown, and it is my goal to make sure that any person who needs to buy or sell a property can do so feeling empowered and educated.
That's right.
Because so many people are just scared, and it's like, maybe it's the time to buy for you or sell, or maybe it's not, and that's okay, but at least have that conversation so that you can make an informed decision and not look back with that 20/20 hindsight and say, oh man, I should have bought.
Well, realtors out there, listen to Lindsey. I mean, this is a pro tip, guys.
Yeah.
If you're not doing video, you need to start doing video. I tell people all the time, we live in an era of people want to consume their information the way they want to consume it. And if you want to sell to them, guess what you got to do? You got to sell it on whatever platform they're digesting their news. Not everybody's reading the newspaper anymore. Last time I saw, is it social media? Is it web-based? Is it video? It's whatever. People want to consume their content the way they want to consume it. People, they say it all the time. If you're not doing video, just start, because your future self 3 or 4 years down the road will thank you for even getting started. I'll share a stat out there, which I find, when I heard this stat, it was mind-boggling. Did you guys know that 51% of the population is 30 and under? Think about that for a second. For the longest time, the baby boomers were the number one population in the United States. Now it's 30 and under. Think about that demographic. Number 2.
I tested you on that too. I looked it up. He's right.
Yeah, Google it.
It's a true statistic.
Yeah, Google it. The secondary thing, when you talk about a boom coming, the baby boomers are no longer the largest population. Right now, it's Gen Z and millennials. Well, guess what? They polled Gen Z and millennials, and 70 million Gen Z and millennials are saying that they want to buy a home in the next 24 months. Think about that. In the next 2 years, 70 million buyers out there are wanting to buy a home. And guess what? Gen Z and millennials, how do they consume their information? How do they consume their data? The media. Yeah. What you're doing today. Pro tip, guys, listen to Lindsey.
Well, she spit another one out there too, Lindsey. You're full of amazing advice, because what you said was, I'm out there and I'm also doing education, right? A lot of the videos about education. This is what's going on with the market. This is what you should be looking at, when you're out there, trying to make an informed decision. And you talked about education, and that's what makes you. I think it's her superpower is you're not trying to sell everybody. You're providing the information that they need to make an informed decision. And because you're leading them in such an amazing way, they have that trust factor with you that when it's time to buy, they're not looking any other direction, because they know they can trust you, because you didn't try to push them into something they didn't want. You're helping leading them into the direction and going, hey, when you're right, it's the right time for you. That's when we're going to jump, right?
Well, you both know how to make a girl feel so great. but I think it really is true. I mean, I genuinely want people to feel comfortable when they're buying the biggest asset of their life. And many people will only do it once. And particularly when you're young, and you hear all these horror stories, and to me, it's meeting people where they're at, because, and you get, the trolls are like, oh, another realtor trying to sell a house. It's like, no, I'm just trying to have people have a conversation.
That's right.
Because how many people were like, don't buy a house in 2020, the market's going to crash. Let's talk about hindsight being 2020. If I knew what
That's
I know
right.
now, I would have mortgaged my life up to my eyeballs to buy everything I could in April of 2020
That's
and then
right.
waited 2 years and sold it. So I think just providing that space. And the other thing, too, is when you do video, people see who you are. So some people, I'm sure, watch my videos and think, I would never work with her, I can't stand her, and that's fine,
No.
because they're going to go find
I
their
doubt
person.
that.
But when people who find me like, I love your videos, I love all my customers now because
Yeah.
we jive. Like they're my people, and it works out really well.
You know, we had a gentleman on here a few weeks back. He was from up in Kentucky, and he's used social media to bring in his crowd. And he said the same thing. One of the main reasons he was having such great success is because he has a voice out there, and whether you like it or you don't, he's honest about what he's talking about. And that's why the people feel so comfortable and connected when they work with him, because they already know that he's not going to feed them a line, right? They know that what he's talking about is 100%. He believes that wholeheartedly, and as a result, there's a trust factor there. And you're right. If people are truly watching you on social media, whether you like it or not, you're going to be judged, right? And you're right. Some people may not like your opinion, but the ones that do, they're the ones that are going to come back to you because they already know they can trust you. They don't even have to question it. They can go, well, I've listened to 32 of these videos, and let me tell you something. She hasn't changed characters yet. I'm pretty sure this is just who Lindsey is, right? Are you interested in purchasing a new home but don't have the money for the down payment or closing costs? Have you tried using a down payment assistance program before but didn't qualify because you weren't a first-time home buyer or made too much money? Then Click and Close has the answer for you. We've developed the Smart Buy Forgivable program. The Smart Buy will give you up to 3.5% of the purchase price to be used towards your down payment or closing costs. This will allow you to come to the closing table with no down payment. That's right. No down payment. If you'd like to learn more about the Click and Close Smart Buy Forgivable program, click below to learn more or call us today. Click and Close, home of the no down payment home loan. That's right, no down payment. No, really.
Yeah,
You were gonna ask
I think
something
that's
there.
absolutely true.
Yeah, no.
you
You
just
know, I
put it
tell
out
people
there.
all the time, you know, whenever people go to your Facebook, or what's the number one place they go to first? It's the About You page. They always pull up About You because people want to know who you are, whatever it is. I find myself doing it when I first heard that stat. I'm like, he's right. The About You page is what people want to know. Secondary, real estate. It's a trust factor. I mean, you know what? We all have what's called a BS meter inside of us, right? You know when that person's BSing you or make you kind of feel cringy. Man, you are just really genuine.
Yeah.
You come across very trustworthy, very genuine, you know, and that's why you're so successful out there, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to ask something too, because you touched on the About Us or About You. You mentioned family. We always say real estate success is not just success in business; it's success in our partners at home. Talk about that a little bit. We know you're out there doing all kinds of great real estate stuff, and you're shooting a ton of video. What do you do in your spare time? What are you doing with the family?
Oh my gosh, I am unbelievably blessed to have a ridiculously, wonderfully supportive husband, Carter. And two beautiful girls. I was like, oh, I think you can see their feet right there. But, you know, when I got into this business, I did my research. I'm a thinker, and some people would say I like to think about thinking. So I'm slow to make a move, but then once I decide, I'm like, I'm in, let's go. I wanted this done yesterday. But when I decided to go into real estate, I was doing some research, and it's one of the number one jobs for divorce rate. You know, this has the highest divorce rate of a lot of careers. And so before I got into this, it was a big conversation with Carter and I of just like, you know, I could be the number one agent in the world, but if I am divorced and my children don't know me, to me, what is the point?
That's right.
So I've been very intentional about finding that harmony. I don't say balance, because balance would be 50-50, and that's just not true or attainable.
We're in real estate. We know the truth.
Yeah, I think it's harmony. It's like, you know, there are some weekends where I'm doing an open house and showings, and there's not a lot of family time. But then, you know, for example, this weekend, I'm like, mommy's not doing that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I did, this happened during COVID, because I had two little girls who I love. The only thing I ever knew I wanted to be growing up was a mom. Like, I went through multiple different potential jobs, but I always knew I wanted to be a mama. And so it got hard. when you have a little one saying, well, mommy, why are you going again? Or why can't you play with us? Like, oh, mommy's showing a house. So it's in my kitchen right now. I'm looking at it. It's giant dry erase thermometer. And I said, okay, in 2020, I said, if mommy can hit her goal in sales, if mommy can hit 5 million, we're going to go to Disney World. And every time mommy gets a sale, we're going to color this in and we're going to do a dance party to celebrate a closing. And so then it went from, mommy, where are you going, to, mommy, did you sell a house today? Or go show a house, go do an open house. And it was just a flip that kind of gave them some understanding and some ownership. And so now every year when I do my business planning, we do our family planning of our goals. So this year I have my goal, and we did little ones, like when I hit 2.5 million, everybody got $50 and we got to go to the mall to go shopping, to buy whatever we wanted. The halfway goal was going to Volcano Bay, which is a water park in Orlando near us. And so they are involved. And now that they're older, they help me set up my open house signs. My 8-year-old actually did an open house with me a few weeks ago because she asked if she could be more involved. So I really am trying to find that harmony.
Well, I'll tell you what else
great.
you're doing is you're creating future success for your success partners, which in this case I'm referring to your children. You're showing them all the right reasons to set goals and how to accomplish big things. And you're not just handing over money. There's certain things that have to be accomplished to do that. You're giving them financial success without even maybe realizing how much you're providing to them in their future success. But that's amazing that you're able to do that and able to share those moments with your children. And that's one of the reasons we love to touch on that, because we always know if there is a family back there, there's a mommy mode, right? It's not always just a real estate mode, but there's also a spouse mode. And I have to ask this. I always like to ask this because, you've got another half, and I know you couldn't do everything you do without Carter in your life. If Carter were here today and you wanted to say something to him about, all the support that he provides to you, what would you say to Carter if he was right here in the room with us right now?
Oh man, I would say, Carter, every bit of this success and forward progress is due so majorly to your success or your support. I mean, without Carter, I'm not here. Without Carter, I'm not batch filming. I'm not having the year of my career. Like, this man is so supportive. I mean, down to in the summer, he'll go put up my open house signs for me so I don't show up sweaty to my open house, right? He is a teacher, so his chosen profession, which he's ridiculously gifted at, oh my gosh, middle schoolers love this man. But, he's off at 4. He has the same school holidays that the girls do. So it has naturally provided an incredible support for me because he can handle a lot of the things at home. He can get the kids from school. I can go show a house. He can be with the girls while I do open houses or whatever it may be. So I think it would just be, I'm so grateful to him for his unwavering support. He is an amazing cheerleader. He's always got me, and he has a name tag that says realtor husband.
That's awesome.
He's unofficially also my director of logistics because I kind of I'm extroverted and I'm kind of all over, and he's very methodical. So I'll say, okay, I need director of logistics. I need to do these 5 things. How should I do them? So we always have a big dialogue going on. And we've carved out specific time to always kind of check in with our marriage and what's happening in our lives and making sure that stays first.
Lindsey, you're doing it all. You're doing it all. Successful business, successful partnership, successful mother. You're what a lot of people in this world aspire to be, and you're doing it all because of your passion and your drive. And I'm honored to spend an afternoon getting to know you. And what you're doing out there is amazing. And if you don't hear it enough, you need to, because we need more people like Lindsey Johnson in this world that really care, truly passionate. So thank you for coming on the show today.
My absolute pleasure. I'm just super excited to have been here, and I hope that this helps people, because I think it can be a very lonely business, and you kind of put your head in there and you get your tunnel vision on and sometimes forget to look up and breathe. And I just hope that, this can inspire somebody to pick up their phone and just record a quick video, even if you've got wrinkles on your forehead like I do, or gray hair. It's like, who cares? Just do it.
That's right.
And to check in with your family and just realize this is just, it can be a beautiful career if you're intentional.
Well, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about that you're helping people every day, but there's no doubt about it you'll help some people who are watching this podcast or listening to this podcast as well. And I think, the key thing that I really want to remember that you talked about was you just got started doing something and you did it and you stayed consistent and you stayed persistent besides the results. You weren't measuring your results. You measured your activity, and you knew doing the right activity over time would bring the results. And here you are today, having your most successful year in 2023 when a lot of people are getting out of the business. So thank you for doing what you do. And is there anything we should have asked you today that we did not?
Let's see. I think the other thing is just being open. So I am an open book. If another agent, whether they're in my office or it's a competing brokerage, if somebody asks me like, hey, how do you do video? I will tell them everything they want to know, because what I think happens is people kind of find their secret sauce, and then it's this closely guarded secret, because if I tell anybody how I do it, then they're going to take all my customers. And what I have come to realize is when you're just you have customers for life. So be willing to share so that your fellow cohorts can build that same thing for them. Because someone in my office, I did a whole trick-or-treat event for my neighborhood and my customers, and someone in my office was like, look, no one is ever going to take one of Lindsey Johnson's customers because they are so loyal to her. It does not matter what anybody does. And so I think it's just important to remember, if you have something that's working, like, share it. Like, rip off and duplicate. It's the R&D of 2023.
Well, she just keeps giving that again and again and again.
Pro tip.
I love it.
Pro tips.
I love it.
There you go.
Well,
You got some pro tips from Lindsey.
That's right. Well, Lindsey, when folks out there want to find you, first off, what area? We know you're in Gainesville, but just Gainesville, or do you hit some of the surrounding communities?
So some of the surrounding communities, it's north central Florida, Gainesville, Alachua County, so High Springs, Archer, Hawthorne, Micanopy, that kind of surrounded area. And if people are looking to find me, really Instagram and YouTube are probably the most popular places where you'll see me. And that's at Lindsey Johnson Realtor, Lindsey with an E. But you can find my videos, and there's a ton of education there. And then also on Instagram, you'll see a little bit more of the family life and the off the cuff sort of, windshield moment in my car. Here's what you got to hear today kind of thing.
That's awesome. Well, guys and gals, if you're out there looking for a home in the Gainesville and surrounding areas, there's no doubt that you want to check out Lindsey, and go check out her channel too. She's got some amazing information. Even if you're in another state and you just want to know some really great tips on what you should be looking for when it's time for you to start looking for a home, Lindsey's got that content there. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Christina, anything that we need to ask you before we let you go today?
I want to thank Lindsey so much for coming on the podcast and sharing, as not everybody, like you said, wants to, like, they want to hide their secrets, their successful ingredients, and that just shows your character and your authenticity and exactly the reason why I wanted you to be on the show. And I'm so glad that you shared the story of how you motivated your children to participate and have a voice. And that just brings not only them and I shared this with you. That was like the most impressive thing to me, is that you've created such a way to make the business and also your family just congeal together, and it just says so much about you. So I thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad that they got to hear that story.
Thank you, Christina, for bringing her on here with us. Christina, you do financing down there in Florida too. If anybody wants to find you, what's a good way to get in front of Christina Wagner?
They can give you a call, 352-659-6812, or you can find me on the Dubuque team, which is DUBUC, but it's the DUBUC.com.
There
Did
we
I get
go.
that right, Devin?
Well, that's me. Yeah, that's me. It's the DubuqueTeam.com. And I'm Devin Dubuque.
I'm David Wynn.
And we're your real estate success partners. If you want to check us out, hey, come on over to the Dubuque team, and you can find our podcast there. You can find our links to all of our social platforms on Instagram and YouTube. We're the Dubuque team on those as well. Please make sure you subscribe. We love those 5-star reviews. And if you'd like to be on the podcast, drop us a line. We'd love to talk to you about coming on and being on the show. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
Bye, guys.